What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We've got a great video for you guys today. We're gonna go over why Uber Eats drivers are getting deactivated lately and how you can get reactivated. Before we jump into this, we just wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Solo. Solo is the best way to simply make more money as an Uber and Lyft driver. Gets you guaranteed earnings, and they say the average solo driver makes at least an extra $5 grand a year just from having a free app. Now the best part is that for our viewers, you're gonna get $10 just for signing up using the link in the description below. So make sure you check that out, guys, and let's dive in. Alrighty, so one of the most frustrating things as a Uber driver, Lyft driver, DoorDash, Instacart, whatever it is, but primarily we're gonna talk about delivery here, is you're planning to go out, work 5-6 hours, maybe more, maybe less. You're counting on that money for that week, and then bam, you can't go online. Usually it says that for some reason, your account was deactivated. So let's go over the reasons you get deactivated and how you can get reactivated, as well as a few little tips from us. So the biggest reason you're gonna get deactivated is a high cancellation rate. The percentage of delivery orders you accept as a courier, as well as, the amount that you complete as a courier. So this can be frustrating because in general, the rule of thumb is you skip fast food. Odds are if you get 16 Taco Bell orders in a row, you're not getting one tip off those 16 Taco Bell orders. A lot of times they're going to cheap college kids, people that don't really tip. And a lot of times, ironically, even though it's called fast food, it's not fast food, especially if it's a Saturday, Friday night. Everybody just got home from the bar, you're doing a late shift, everyone's hungover, they want a quick, just trying to think of a Taco Bell item, but I don't go enough to even know the menu. They want a quick burrito, right? And so there will actually be an insanely long line, and I've run into this so many times myself as doing DoorDash, as well as just even as an Uber driver, where people would want to stop after a ride. And it's crazy. I mean, it's like, it'll add sometimes an extra half an hour to your trip just sitting and waiting in that line. So especially at nighttime, I think the fast food can be horrible. And so it's frustrating because you want to cancel those deliveries, especially if they're happening at the wrong time. But if you spam that cancel button, it's gonna bite you in the butt. If you're consistently late and getting reported for it, you can get deactivated. If you violate their driver policy, which this is a little bit different in my opinion than Uber and Lyft, because there's not too many ways they can ensure this, but they say in their policy that dangerous driving could get you deactivated, but it's like, well, how would you know? Deactivation on other gig economy platforms. And this is one that a lot of people don't really realize, but if you are Uber Eats, for example, getting deactivated on Uber can affect you as an Uber Eats driver. Impaired driving, again, if you're doing delivery, hard to prove, not condoning it by any means, but technically, if they somehow know you drop off the food, passenger says they smell Jack Daniels on your breath, you could get deactivated for that. Altercations with customers or harassing them, that kind of goes without saying. Sexual misconduct, hey, why don't we have that Taco Bell together in your apartment? Not a good idea. Use of unapproved vehicles, use of unsafe vehicles. I believe another reason that you can is, there used to be a pretty nice hack, I think, before they patched it, is you could basically say you were using a bike but be in your car, so that you would only get really local deliveries, and you wouldn't even get potential deliveries that were like pretty far out, because they know you're not going to Lance Armstrong your bicycle like 40 miles. I mean, that's an exaggeration obviously, but still you could stay within a much shorter confinement and really make a lot more money. Eventually they got rid of that, and now you can get deactivated for that as well. So if you say you're on a bicycle and they're sensing from the app that you're driving much faster than a bicycle could go, you can get deactivated for that as well. So really, if you do anything dangerous, anything that can potentially harm others, that's essentially their policy. Tampering with the food, taking that bonus fry, will get you deactivated. I mean, you can't Again, this stuff's a lot harder to prove than it is with Uber and Lyft because you don't have the passenger in the car. But you know, if there's a bite out of their burger, you're probably getting deactivated. Fraud, and that's very similar to Uber accounts. If you're letting someone else use your account, if you're operating a vehicle that is not, you know, it's not what you're saying, very similar to the bikes. There's a lot more ways of fraud. The primary one is letting someone else use your account. Having multiple accounts, changes to your insurance and background check information. So obviously once they recheck you to make sure you haven't you know, robbed any banks in the last year, that'll get you deactivated as well if you did in fact rob a bank. Low driver rating is going to get you deactivated as well. And that's pretty much it. So now, and expired documents is also, actually, expired documents, discrimination as well, time on trip fraud, and really, I think there's honestly even more than that. That, to my knowledge, is really everything. But there's probably a few other reasons that people have got deactivated, and let us know in the comments if there is. So essentially, usually they're going to send out a warning email to you to let you know, like, hey, you need to update your documents. If it's not a major, you know, violation of their policy, you know, they're going to try their best to make sure you can fix the errors in time. So obviously, always check the app. I was really bad about checking the Uber app for a long time, and I just always assumed it was like a quest message from them. And one time it really was about expired documents, and I just somehow missed it time after time after time. So the best way is obviously just try and stay ahead of these issues. If you're like deactivated because of like fraud or sexual misconduct, like no one can help you. You just shouldn't have been a weirdo. So obviously, you know, preventative measures are kind of the best ways to really do it. So now with Uber Eats, you can technically go into the hubs and try and deal with the issues there. That's really going to be your best bet. But really, your main line of defense in any of these issues is talking to whatever support the platform has available. Now, my advice there is just be calm, and especially if it's Uber, you're talking to people overseas, so use, like, phrase everything really slow, try to be really nice. I always noticed with Uber, especially, like if I was just halfway decent, they were usually a lot more prompt at fixing my problem. But if you can't go to a hub, unfortunately, you are going to be dealing with support. Now, the one other thing I want to talk about is the Driverly app, and that's something that I've used before to deal with deactivations. It's essentially a hub of information that's going to tell you how you can get reactivated on the rideshare platforms. Definitely worth checking out. I'll make sure I leave a link in the description for that as well. But that's the best bet. I would check out the Driverly app. I would always try to go to a hub if the platform offers it first. I know support from your couch while watching Netflix sounds more appealing, but generally getting a hold of those people is very frustrating. But for the most part, stay calm, cool, and collected, and usually they're pretty good about fixing your issues, as long as you didn't do something really weird, like I said. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys check out Solo, linked in the description below. You're gonna get $10 just for signing up for free. Definitely worth it. So look into that. I promise it's probably the best app on the market for rideshare drivers. I hope you guys crushed out there this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.